This is Local 3 News at 4.
2 men are finally home and safe. They were trapped in a cave for 36 hours. Hear about all it took to rescue them. Leaders from around the world are sending assistance to Ukraine. More than 2,000 civilians have been killed so far. And the BBB shares safe ways you can give to the people of Ukraine and make sure your money gets into the right hands. Thank you for joining us for Local 3 News on this Wednesday. I'm Cindy Sexton. 2 men are finally home and safe. They were trapped in Levi Cave for 36 hours. Loved ones waited nearly 2 long nights at the foot of Lookout Mountain. Local 3's Angela Kim was there and has more from one of the rescued men and the people who were there for hours.
I'd rather be sitting in jail than going into that cave again.
For Robbie Dobos and Gabriel Vaughn, going a bit beyond the guided map for Levi's Cave resulted in something both men were not expecting.
We had one headlamp for the past day between the two of us. His flashlight fell whenever we were sleeping into the water and went down the stream.
Dobos says within a couple of hours, he and Vaughn knew they were lost and kept trying to find a way out, but got further inside the cave and stranded even more.
Scared as hell the entire time because we knew we were obviously lost and we're not finding our way out.
Dobos' mother, Rhonda Thompson, and Vaughn's mother waited all night on Broad Street.
Just fear because they withheld it from me just so that I wouldn't worry. So I didn't know until very late into it.
Friends and more family members crowded by the White Oak dry cleaners, just hoping.
Did you think there would be a good outcome today?
No. No, I did not. I was scared.
Many of the agencies that responded, like the Chattanooga Fire Department and the Hamilton County Cave and Cliff Team, say Dobos and Vaughn were lucky for such a good outcome.
This is a cave that no one should have been in, so this really shouldn't have happened at all.
He says paying attention to warnings and signs is important, especially since the area that was blocked off had multiple reasons.
A lot of crawling, and there's also a lot of places where you can drop down to a lower level. There was multi-levels to this cave, so that really presented a lot of obstacles.
Dobos and his mother are both just grateful and finally home after some long nights.
I'm gonna feed him and get him warm.
Definitely shower. Cuddling with another dude covered in mud is not the most ideal situation, but you know, it was better than not having him there.
Reporting by Lookout Mountain, Angela Kim, Local 3 News.
We're glad to see their faces. Warren says Vaughn and Robos could face charges for trespassing. Stay with Local 3 News. We'll keep you up to date. Time now to send it over to Cedric Haynes. He is here in the Storm Alert Center for a look at the forecast. Cedric.
Good afternoon, Cindy. Happy hump day. And I'll tell you what, this weather, I mean, just amazing outside right now. In fact, let me show you the 24-hour temperature change map. That's what we're going to start with because these numbers are about 10 degrees warmer than where we were 24 hours ago. So that gives you an idea. And yesterday was pretty nice. Look at where we are right now. It is 78 degrees currently in Chattanooga, 77 in Dalton, 75 in Dayton and Cleveland. We've got 70 for Murphy over towards Blue Ridge, 75 in Fort Payne. The cool spot, Altamont, but even you at 68 degrees right now. Now, so look at the wide perspective of temperatures. Yeah, you can see we've got a pair of 78s from Nashville all the way over towards Atlanta. And then notice temperatures in the mid to upper 70s back towards Little Rock and Dallas as well. So everybody warming up thanks to high pressure, giving us cobalt blue skies. Lots of sunshine, dry air in place, just very pleasant conditions here. Any weather makers way out to the north up near the Canadian border, and that's where they're going to stay over the next couple of days. So as we go hour by hour, staying fairly warm into the evening hours, we'll slowly fall from the 70s down into the 60s, but overall a fairly mild night. Probably if you have any plans outside, you're not even going to need a jacket or a sweater. In fact, it's going to stay fairly comfortable through the evening hours. It's not until overnight we dip back into the 50s and eventually down into the 40s. In fact, I think we bottom out, most of us in the lower 40s with a few upper 30s in the eastern mountains. Coming up in just a few moments, we've got warmer weather heading our way. I'll talk more about that and also when rain could make a return to the area in just a few moments. Cindy?
Thank you, Cedric. Ukraine is under attack and the world is not staying silent. Leaders from around the world are sending assistance as more than 2,000 civilians in Ukraine have been killed so far. Right here in Chattanooga, we'll share ways people are helping. Here's the latest of what's happening in Ukraine. Crowds have gathered at the Kharkiv train station, boarding a train to take them as close as possible to the Slovakian border. More than 675,000 people have fled Ukraine so far. Airbnb is offering temporary housing in Poland, Germany, Hungary, and Romania to about 100,000 Ukrainians. This comes from their refugee fund and host assistance. A TV tower in Kyiv has been hit, claiming the lives of 5 people. And here's a look at some of the damage the rocket caused. Hundreds of determined Ukrainians have blocked Russian forces from the access road to a nuclear power plant. Russia told the UN's nuclear watchdog it had taken over the power plant, but Ukraine says that is not the case. The Kharkiv Police Department building has also been targeted by a military strike, and we'll tell you how you can help in our next half hour. Honda, General Motors, and Ford are the latest to pull their resources from Russia. And Apple halted the sale of its products in Russia as well, saying we stand with all the people who are suffering. Americans are praying for the nation and the people of Ukraine, and many are wondering about safe ways to give. Our Meredith Aldis joins us in the studio now with how you can make sure your donations are going to help.
Yes, Cindy, unfortunately, people take advantage of situations and steal their money. So here's some questions to ask yourself before giving. Can the charity get to Ukraine? And is it experienced in providing emergency relief? The BBB has a list of vetted organizations collecting supplies or funds for Ukraine relief efforts. In order for an organization to be accredited by the BBB, it must meet the 20 charity standards. Some of those are truthful and transparent representations, an active volunteer board, and being effective in achieving its mission.
Anything that's high profile like this, there's going to be scammers out there. So be watchful for anything that just pops up suddenly, a new site, a new organization.
She says never follow a donation link sent by email, text, or social media. And when paying, use a credit card. Mason says it's the most secure way to do so. The BBB has a list of accredited charities who are either currently raising funds for assistance efforts in Ukraine or preparing for needs that could arise if conflict results in population displacement. We have all those organizations listed inside this story on our website. Reporting live in the studio, Meredith Aldis, Local 3 News.
Thank you, Meredith. President Biden condemned Russian President Vladimir Putin in his strongest terms yet during his first State of the Union address. We'll give you an update in a few minutes on what the president had to say about everything from the pandemic to inflation and, of course, Ukraine. That's next. And coming up on local news at 4, a nearby sinkhole has closed a road. We'll hear more about that next and where it is.